Welcome back, everybody. It seems a little crazy that it's already time to start talking about wrapping up 2020. Because I remember when we were talking about the start to 2020 or okay, 3 months in, what's this pandemic going to do for 2020? So now it's time to talk about wrapping it up.
Seems like this year's gone by pretty quick for as crazy it's been and how
it's been a
up
weird
and down
year,
it's been.
not going to lie, but it did go quick. And I think it went better for a lot of landscapers than maybe they were anticipating. I know some people that were in maybe bigger cities that had more restrictions and shutdowns on things, maybe it impacted them a little more, but in general, if we're going to talk overall, especially everybody in our academy, most everybody has had
a great year,
their best years ever, and even they're already booked into 2021.
Yeah, so that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I know some states were having some issues, or not issues,
but there was a little Jersey. I know
Michigan was a little bit.
Yeah.
At first was initially hit kind of hard because the governor or whatever didn't allow them to work, which I get it.
Yeah, and I think that was just on a state by state basis. So.
Yeah, so some places, but like you said, most of our academy members had great years.
Yeah, so. But you do have to look back at 2020. Well, not just 2020, any year. It's always a good idea to kind of look back on your year to see what worked, what didn't, and make some kind of plan for going forward. Because you can't change things that you aren't monitoring. You can't just keep hoping for the best. Thoughts and prayers. Hopefully it'll be better.
Your fingers crossed. Yeah.
That's not a real plan.
Yeah. No, you have to plan things. It's like anything, you plan a vacation, you're going to plan how you're going to get there, if you're going to drive, how you're going to fly, who you're going to fly with, or whatever it is. You're planning things out, and you need to do that for your business. And we find a lot of people don't do this.
Mm-mm. And you have to keep up on it. I mean, I've been hoping to lose 30 pounds for 5 years, but I've never put a plan in place, and I've definitely never followed up on it. So guess what? It hasn't happened.
Yeah,
maybe in 2021. We'll see if I make a plan.
Yeah,
but anyway.
New year, new you.
Yeah. But what we do have available for download is just a little guide to planning your 2021 season. Because I'll speak for you. No, I like to kind of first take that 30,000 foot view, look at things. I'm not one to automatically dive into each specific tactic. To me, you got to kind of take a broad look at things, and then you can go from there, deciding where you want to kind of hone in and what you want to hone in on.
You can if we need to focus on marketing. Okay, then we'll do a separate thing for that.
But you kind of have to take a broad look first. Yeah. And so to kind of explain what I mean.
And real quick, if you want to download this, you can head to milliondollarlandscaper.com/2021. And you can download this awesome little planner for you.
It's just kind of help keep your thoughts in one place and to get you started. So it'll be in the show notes for the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll have it in the notes there too.
Yep. But if you need to go to the link, I'll put it up on the things.
Yeah, because I think I always like to have just some kind of little guide just to help keep me started, because my brain can get off on thought tangents pretty easily. So, so the first thing that you really need to do is just look at your expected sales. If you had made a budget for 2020, I think even if you didn't formally make one or write it down, most people have kind of an idea of what they want to do, right? When you say,
you need to look. You need to look at what you did last year, and then what you kind of expecting for next year as well. So,
I would look at what you had planned to do for 2020, and then go into your accounting software and then see what you actually did. Yeah. And I would even break this down more. I would do it overall for your business in general, but then if you have different divisions, I would do it by division as well.
Yeah, because one of the things when you start looking at these, you need to start analyzing, is it worth continuing some type of service? So you kind of break things down when you get into divisions, because it may not have been worth it, or you can attribute to this year being kind of different.
Well, you can make those determinations then, because if you don't look at it by each division, you could be oh, my company didn't make any money. Well, okay. Why didn't it make any money? If you break it down by division, you can be oh man, our landscaping division stunk, but our mowing did great this year, or vice versa, whatever. It just kind of gives you a little more leverage and a little more fine tuning as you can, so you can kind of start to see where problems are. And then like Scott said, then if you are looking to get rid of a division, or maybe you want to beef up advertising for that division, whatever, if you look and see how that division's doing, then you can make better decisions on where you go, from here with it.
Well, absolutely. And then if you start looking at it we didn't do so well, whatever, on water features. Well, is it because you didn't you need to train your people better,
Right.
or
Why didn't you? Where was the problem?
Yeah, you need to start. You can start honing in on things and figuring out why things weren't working out so well. Maybe you just need to train your guys better. It took them way longer to do this project than it should have. These multiple projects. So
yeah, well, that goes into the next topic is look at like your top 10 like best jobs, like most profitable jobs that you had for the year, and also look at your worst ones from the year.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at them and you're like, okay, our ponds always knocked it out of the park, those always did well, okay, you're probably estimating those right. Your crews are probably coming in on time or under for man hours, blah, da, 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 da. If you have if you consistently have jobs that are doing poorly, like if all of your hardscape jobs are coming in and you're losing money, then what went wrong? Did you estimate them? Did you not put enough time in your estimate? Were you leaving materials out? Was everybody moving too slow? Did you have a weird summer where it rained for 3 months straight or something so you couldn't be out on the job? I don't know. I'm just making things up. But
well, yeah, if you aren't doing job costing, now's the time. You need to be doing those type of things. You should be doing those, and that's going to help you
essentially
analyze
that's what this is job costing. Yeah, to give it a name. Yeah.
Once you're doing this, you can fine tune it. And then one thing to take from that is, if you do not, or if you are bidding in man hours, let's say production hours, whatever you want to call it, you're doing that, you can start writing down those numbers. Like, it took these guys this much time to do mulch or whatever it is, that project you're doing, and start tracking those. That will help you estimate in the future for future projects. So
right.
There's a lot you can take.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can get down some rabbit holes with this, but if you just write down, like, big picture, if you write down those top 10 most profitable jobs and those top 10 less profitable, worse jobs. Yeah. Maybe I should said lowest 10. I don't know. Anyway, write down the ones that made you money. Write down the ones that did not make you money, and just look for trends. Was it all over the place? Was it sometimes landscaping, sometimes ponds, sometimes mowing, or was it always something? Just look for trends, because then that gives you somewhere to start when you do start digging into things that are a little more fine tuned. Like Scott said, like, make sure you have man hours correctly. Make sure you're doing your job costing, stuff like that. So, and then this is in the book as well, because then you can just kind of start like writing down your notes on, okay, how can I do this better next year for 2021? So, and then really you can just, once you have all that information, you can kind of like forecast what you think you should do for 2021. How much do you want to bump up your revenue? Do you want to kind of stay the same, maybe in sales, but just be more profitable? Because I think people kind of think about or don't think about that, but that is a tactic. Like, maybe you did $500,000 in sales, but your company just broke even. Well, okay, you don't have to necessarily bump up to that next sales goal to make more money. You could still do the same amount in sales, but go back and do your job costing. Look at your employees. Look for areas where you can be more profitable. Get that under control. And then in 2022, try and make more sales.
Well, it's like, whatever the old adage, more money, more problems. It's the same thing here. You want to set those goals of, if you're at $500,000 this year, do you want to set it for $750,000 next year, or whatever it is?
Because then you go from having $500,000 problems to $750,000 problems. Well, so don't take your baggage with you.
Well, then you may need another truck. So that's more stuff, more insurance, more equipment, and then people to drive that. So you need more people. And if you're having problems with hiring people now, there's a whole, like Kitty said, you can go down a huge rabbit hole.
You can get down a lot of rabbit holes.
But you can start looking at these types of things, and that brings up a good point. Like you said, just if you're staying at 500,000, maybe I'll stay there, but
yeah, maybe you can be more profitable. So. But or maybe you did 500,000 in sales, and your maybe your net profit was 17%. That's really well. Okay, then now's a good time to start thinking about, okay, what can I do for growth in 2021? Where do I want to go forward from here? So. And then you can break that down by division as well. Yeah. If you can decide, okay, I want, whatever, landscaping division will be this.
In the guide, it has you where you can break it down. You don't have to use it, so don't freak out, because I don't remember how many I have on there, like 4 or 5 different divisions on there.
Well, I would use the guide, but we have a lot of room for divisions. Yeah. Most people do not have that many divisions. Yeah. We only ever had landscaping, hardscaping, water features,
lawn maintenance,
and snow plowing. Okay, so we had 5, but not everybody's going to have 5. Yeah. If you only have 1 or 2, or if you are still at the point where it's just 1, that's fine. Don't let this intimidate you at all. Everybody starts somewhere.
No, and the nice thing too, this book, real quick, just so you know, this is a fillable book, so you can go online and fill it right on the computer. So if you don't like writing, you like typing like me, it's fillable.
Yeah,
so.
that we differ there. I prefer to print things out and write them. Scott loves my affinity for, and I have to write everything in pencil. I always have like no less than 7 pencils laying around everywhere, and then I sharpen them all, and it's noisy. He loves it.
It's great.
It's great. Or like Scott said, it's a fillable PDF. You can just fill it out online
and keep it somewhere.
And not.
Well, the thing too, kind of with this, once you do these type of things, don't just like put it in a folder, put it in your file cabinet, and tuck it away. Keep it out, hang it next to your wall. You need to look at these goals every so often and make sure you're staying on track with everything.
Oh, yeah. And you don't have to do this all yourself either. You can have, if you have a trusted employee that you want to bring in to help you fill this out, that's completely fine. Maybe you work with your spouse. I would just set aside some time to really sit down and honestly do it. Don't just necessarily make everything up off the top of your head. Like you might need to set aside an hour or two if you have to look back through your accounting software, if you have to dig back through jobs. This might not be something that you can do in 10 minutes.
No, so you need to take an action and start planning these type of things. So it's...
Right. And like we said, if you've got somebody that you can bring in to help you with it, that's even better. I don't know about you. I always prefer to do things with a buddy. I can easily just like blow things off if I don't have any accountability. So like we hold each other accountable for a lot of things in doing stuff like that.
Well,
so,
you pull ideas off one another or look at things different than
totally.
I look at things different she does. So
that's I think one of our strongest points in our business is the fact that it doesn't usually cause fights, maybe sometimes, but it is genuinely usually an asset that we look at things very differently. So it is always good to have an opinion from somebody else that you can chat about and not fight with on things. So, and then after you look at all that and think about all those things, just start writing out some action plans of what you can do to achieve these goals for 2021. Or do you need to increase your ad spend? We're big fans of Send Jim because that's something that you can use for your marketing.
Yep.
Maybe you've thought about it, never done it before. We can put some links in the show notes for that as well because we do have some awesome discounts. Because that's something you might want to work into your marketing plan. Maybe you want to start doing, I don't know, I was going to say home shows, but
some other
because Rona people aren't doing those right now.
Well, if you want to start doing another, like if you want to get into water features or landscape lighting type of thing, you write this plan out and what you kind of expect to do. If you want to do $50,000 in lighting this year, that's your goal. Write it down. I want to do $50,000 worth of lighting this year, and then you can keep track of that during the summer. Like, I'm only at $2,000. Well, what's going on here? So
right, and then. What's your plan for doing? I like that you said lighting because that is a kind of an easy one. Like a little tip here. If you're already doing drawings for customers, throw some lighting in there. Even if they didn't ask for it, just throw it in and they might bite. Like throw in a beginner's package.
I like doing that in my proposal. So if I'm doing a landscape job, they want their backyard landscaped. I'll put in options of landscape lighting and have that as an option. Then they see it and they're like, oh, I never even thought about lighting.
Yeah, we did this with small water features all the time because it's one of those things that people don't know that they want until they see it. And then they're like, what's that?
Yeah, so put those little things in there.
So stuff like that. That is where you can start brainstorming this on this last page is just how am I actually going to reach these goals?
Yep. And there's so many different training avenues out there anymore for landscape lighting. There's water features, anything. There's so many training opportunities right now because everything's virtual. To see if there's some way you can easily add some money to it.
Exactly. So I think that about wraps it up. Like I said, this plan that we've got here for free, it's really that like 30,000 foot view. It will definitely get you started and then you can kind of hone in on things from there. So, but be sure you get it downloaded because it will definitely give you that little jump start if you're just like, I don't really know what I should do.
Yeah, you can sign up for it at milliondollarlandscaper.com/2021. It's kind of weird saying that.
I know. It's 2021. It's time. Or like we said, if you're on YouTube, look in the show notes there. Podcast, show notes. It'll be everywhere. If you're inside our Landscaping Business Owners Facebook group, we will post it in there as well. And if you're not in that Facebook group, get in there. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of great information, a lot of great people in there to help you out. So.
Yep. All righty. Oh, hey, we forgot. We've got pod deck questions. So, Scott, do you have a favorite? If you haven't listened to our podcast before, these are just little fun, silly questions that we like to ask at the end of each podcast. So I can't remember if it's Scott's turn to answer or mine, but I'm going to ask him some because I don't remember. So do you have a favorite T-shirt? And if so, what is on it?
A favorite T-shirt? I don't think I do. I'm pretty much an equal opportunity t-shirt wearer.
Yeah, you don't really get sentimentally attached to things.
Nah.
I guess I wouldn't say I really do either, but...
I mean, I have a couple, I guess.
What do you go for? Like, if you had a favorite, what puts it over the edge? Is it comfort? Is it style? Is it what's on it?
I would say comfort's my biggest thing.
I'm
getting older. I don't care about style as much as I used to.
I mean, because you were so stylish in the past.
Look at this.
Yeah. For anyone who is not watching this on YouTube, yeah, Scott's got on a flannel. So not stylish people. What is the most unique or weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Ooh.
I already know this. I want to see what answer you come up with, but I know what answer I have for you.
Well, I've eaten crickets, I've eaten grubs, I've eaten worms.
Yes. Funny side story. Back when Scott was working out in the field all the time, the guys would take bets and like pool their money to get Scott to eat things. And this is where all the grubs and crickets and worms came in. Yeah. This isn't like what I'm feeding him for dinner. So he would do it for money.
Yeah, I got myself, it bit me in the butt one time because they bet me to eat a grub. We were putting some sod down, or something. I don't remember. We dug up something. I pulled a grub out.
Yeah.
They bet me, so I popped my mouth and ate it, thinking the homeowner was not there. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody inside go, ah.
They were watching you? I don't think I knew this part.
So I kind of, I didn't see anybody there. We kept on going. And I don't remember. I walked up front, coming back from the front to the backyard again. And the homeowner walks out. She's like, if you're that hungry, I would have made you something to eat. I'm like, no.
Busted shenanigans and busted on the job.
Yeah, so no more of that. I can't do that on the job.
That might be slightly unprofessional. Yeah. You'll have to keep all your bug eating at the shop.
The one that always sticks in my head too, kind of a side note, you made bread that one time.
Oh, I did. I made like homemade, I think it was pumpernickel like rolls.
Yeah, and it was kind of dark. It looked like she made it like look like dog poo.
I didn't intentionally make it look like dog poop. I was trying to make like drop biscuits basically out of them, and one came out because it was pumpernickel, so it was real dark, and so it looked like poop. It did.
So we're on a job site, and I set it down in the landscaping, and me and another guy were walking by. I grabbed it. He thought it was dog poo. He's like getting sick, and I took a bite out of it. He started gagging and throwing like almost to the point of vomiting. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Yes. So the faux dog poo.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
That's a pretty good one. I'm trying to think of. I forgot to bring the pod decks out here with me to ask you the question, so I'm just trying to think of ones off the top of my head. Have you ever been electrocuted?
I've been zapped. Yeah, I've been zapped a couple times. Yeah.
Pretty good at work or just here at home?
No, nothing at work. It was at the shop. I've been zapped pretty good times. Sparked.
Maybe if you're going to work on things, shut the power off first.
Probably should. Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps that up. So
thank you, guys.
Hope you learned a little more about Scott on that one.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.